Yes, indeed we are.
We are. We should...
Oh, hang on. You want to hide that, don't you? It's just us.
It's just us. We are doing this completely another random. Are you sending out the tweet or am I sending out the tweet?
You can do it if you like. Yeah, so this is, for those of you watching after the effect, this is a LunaCast Extra. So, as you know, we have our Thursday and our Sunday show, and we've got this little snippet, little bite size, which we will burst onto the scenes when there's something very exciting to reveal, which we have. And so there's a little tiny new intro, which we'll see in a second. But as always, we're just gathering the troops. It takes a few minutes for people to realize that we're live. So rather than go straight live and then be over by the time everybody turns up, we just do a few minutes like this to let the world know.
Yep, and I've just stuck out the wee tweet there, so I will get that going as well.
Excellent stuff. So yes, exciting.
It is really exciting what all this is going to mean for people who don't know. We're going to be touching into this. We sort of said it yesterday on Twitter that it looks like the channel was coming relatively soon, and it has just been confirmed.
Yeah, we were pretty on the money with our predictions. In fairness to most people, they weren't really talking about it. We were, because of how important it is to the launch of Amazon Luna, being its big first partner. So we've probably been looking at this in more detail than most people have, in fairness. we were putting some clues together out there. We weren't just making stuff up, and I think the clues were there if people cared to look at them. So super excited, and particularly as I think the one left field that I went out there with, which was that everybody would be able to play on one subscription anywhere, and that was kind of laughed at by some people, but it just felt like the right thing to do for Ubisoft on the basis of where they were going.
Yeah, I was one of them people laughing at you, to be fair. Then we actually had our full discussion during this, and it actually, after we had a good wee yarn about it, it actually all made sort of sense, especially just for the, what's the word I'm looking for? The cloud services, all the cloud services getting this. It sort of did make sense, because I think Ubisoft, or we're probably going to touch on this on there, Ubisoft are leveraging their position somewhat to get that.
Yeah, and they're also, I mean, you can see their model. It is, as I've said before, they want to be on every platform. They've become the Spotify of gaming. But, with the currently only offering this service to their own titles, but let's not forget, there's no reason at all why they couldn't expand this out. They then become a platform within a platform, which is unique. There's nobody else that's doing this, and it's exactly what Valve did, of course. I mean, Valve started by offering its own titles online via its store, and then expanded it out into Steam. So, who knows? That could well be part of Ubisoft's future model. Right? Shall we run the titles and then do this properly? Are we about there now?
Yeah, we're about there now. So work away.
Right. Okay. We've got a new title, folks, just for these special super duper shows. Here we go. There it is. Welcome to LunaCast Extra. So this is simply a quick, impromptu, bite-size announcement. Whenever there's anything special to say that's going on with Amazon Luna, we will jump in live and bring it to you as an extra. Of course, that does not impact our Thursday or Sunday shows, which will always be at the same time. So this is exciting, Duncan. Here we are again. Notice, folks, neither of us are in suitable attire. So it's just our little avatars today, but you don't mind. So what's happened? What's the big news?
The big news is, we'll bring this up. We'll bring this up here. The big news is Ubisoft Channel is coming. on the 10th of November, and I've lost my actual one I was looking for. It's coming to it's coming in beta to both Stadia and Amazon Luna, but Amazon Luna is coming on the 10th, and it's going to be mad. It is going to be, as you've predicted, and we talked about in our last shows. It's going to be you buy once and you play over the whole other places. So you can play. You pay your $15 a month. You can play it on Stadia. You can play it on Luna. You can play it on PC. So this is actually really, really big news.
Yeah, it's exactly as predicted. As we were saying just before we rolled there, that was the one part of my prediction that nobody agreed with, but it made commercial sense to me. If you think that Ubisoft are essentially looking to become, the dominant player in cross progression, all of their games, if you think about it, they've all been designed to be very long players. I've just literally finished Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I could have gone up to 250 hours if I wanted to play the entire game. I did it in about 80 hours for the main campaign, and that's where they're going. So that it's all about keeping you playing as long as possible on any platform. We knew this was coming because the clues were there. They talked about cross-platform progression. They talked about cross-platform save. So those things indicated to me that they were looking to move Ubisoft Plus, as it's now been renamed, by the way. It's no longer Uplay. It's now going to be known as of this Thursday as Ubisoft Plus. So in essence, that will exist initially. Already it exists on PC, as we know. So here's the thing. If you were to go now and subscribe to Ubisoft Plus, or Uplay Plus, as it is today, and you can actually, by the way, download Watch Dogs Legion right now, because I did this yesterday. I knew this was going to happen in my heart of hearts, so I went ahead, as I said to Duncan, and I subscribed to Uplay Plus because I kind of felt this is how they would go. So you can download it now. You won't be able to play it till Thursday, but as of the 10th of November, which is, as you will remember, folks, when Valhalla goes live, let alone the Xbox Series as well, you will be able to play Valhalla on the launch day, which is what Duncan also predicted from his sleuthing across the internet on recent shows. So you can start playing now, and you'll be able to pick up where you leave off. And that's the beauty of this. This is how it's going to work moving forward. Play on the PC, 10th of November, you'll be able to play on Luna. Now, just a couple of caveats to that. The way it's actually going to work, as you rightly said, Duncan, this is a beta. So you have to subscribe to Ubisoft Plus. Then you have to apply to connect it to Amazon Luna. So if you don't have an early access account, you won't be playing on Ubisoft Plus until you do. But once you've been accepted into the beta program, you can connect your account. So there's some caveats in there. It's coming to Google Stadia as well, but it won't be until after the event. And at this moment in time, there have been no official announcements to that effect. But it's amazing news. So the other thing is, on all platforms, or at least all the ones that have been announced so far, you will not have to subscribe to any of the other services as long as you've got a fully paid up Ubisoft Plus account. You'll be able to play your Ubisoft games on whatever platform Ubisoft Plus exists. And as I also predicted the other day, expect to see this rolling out on Xbox in the very near future as well. And who knows whether PlayStation will also go down the same road. But certainly that's what I anticipate coming up in 2021.
Yep, and I think that a lot of things here need to be actually thought out in bigger sort of picture sort of thinking here. This cannot be understated. This is buy once, play anywhere. It's like what you have said, but don't like using this because it's an awful term which gets mixed up all the time. It is like Netflix. You have your one Netflix account and you can hook it up to your PlayStation, your Xbox, your TV, and everything. This is how this Ubisoft Plus is going to work. You buy one subscription and you can jump across all the different services to access it, and it's all going to be linked in together. The second part of this as well, because this is Ubisoft Plus, you get the big fancy snazzy editions of the games. This is the editions which have all the season passes and stuff like that. It's not going to be for all the games. It's going to be for some of the games. What this also means for Luna, which we haven't even touched on yet, we have completely forgot about this. This means Luna's launch library is now 100 games from November the 10th, because what Ubisoft said, they're going to be bringing 50 games across. We may not get them all at once, but we now know that they're going to be starting to chuck these in, because they're not just going to launch this with Valhalla and Watch Dogs Legions. There's going to be more in there. So I think we're going to see the Luna game catalog explode here, and that is going to be really good to see what all games are bringing. My big thing I'm looking out for is, are they going to bring any mouse and keyboard only games across, or will all the games have to have controller support?
Yeah, and the other big thing that it's worth bearing in mind as well, Duncan, is that this literally means people will have access to all their Ubisoft games in the cloud wherever they want to play them. So, you don't have to have a subscription with Amazon Luna, and you don't have to have a subscription with Google Stadia. As long as you've got your Ubisoft Plus subscription, you can choose whichever platform you want to stream your games from. So, instantly they will be opening up the whole premise of cloud gaming to people who wouldn't ordinarily have considered it. And of course, they don't have to anymore. If they're quite happy playing these games on PC, that's absolutely fine. But there will come a time when they think, oh, I'm off on my holiday, or I'm staying away from home, or I'm visiting friends, and I wouldn't mind playing Uno or Monopoly or any of the other games that are available. So they'll be able to do that simply by creating a free account with any of these platforms. So that is a massive move forward for cloud gaming. It is, if you like, cloud gaming by stealth. Just to pick up, I think Duncan's muted there. Just to pick up.
Yes, that way was.
It's hard to see when we can't see each other. Yeah. Ashes is saying, how are they going to make money off of this? I mean, one of the points that I made, Ashes, on the most recent show, in case anybody missed it, was that I think you have to think about this more in the model of Spotify. So in that case, it's not even so much about them paying the platforms to exist within those platforms. It can be as much of a draw for those platforms. If you think about it, for example, who buys a television these days without having access to Netflix, Spotify, Amazon Prime, all their favorite streaming applications? Very few people is the honest answer, because it is a draw. It is a draw for the manufacturer of the TV set to ensure that you have that service available. It's just a USP. It's really important to have. And I believe that at one level, that's kind of how the platforms will see this. If we don't have Ubisoft Plus, we won't be in the running against the competitors that do have it. So it suddenly becomes just another bonus to be able to say we have this feature here. I'm also convinced that they will be giving. I don't think they will be giving personally. This is purely me, and this is speculation. I personally don't think there will be an ongoing slice of that subscription fee going to any of these platforms. I think they will be given an incentive, an inducement, if you will, based on, let's make it up, 3 months of each individual subscription. So anybody that plays, that the minute you start to play on, on Amazon Luna, for example, that kicks in a 3 months worth of subscriptions kickback to the platform. Now, whether you don't go and play it again on there, that's not your problem. That's, I think, the kind of package that you'll be looking at here. So there is a financial incentive, albeit a relatively short-term one, But with the margins that we're talking about in any kind of software as a service or gaming as a service setup, they're usually tiny, and it's based on volume and not value. So for me, I think that's probably how it's been structured. And then ultimately it becomes, why, if you don't have it on your service, you're missing out on the fact that other people do, and that's where everyone will go to play their games. And those games are pretty impressive. And of course, there's just 5 or 6 coming up, but there will be more in the near future. And who knows whether or not Ubisoft open their platform up to other publishers. And that's the big thing that I'm seeing is the future of this. Take Valve as the example. Valve opened out to become Steam. Now it's a massive platform in its own right, all started from its own games. And Ubisoft could well offer a similar platform for others to join them. So it becomes a platform within a platform. And I think that has, but they will be the only one that stretches across to everybody. And that's the key thing here.
Yep, and as Hendo has just said in the chat here, this is what I was going to pick up on. I think your reasoning, Stein, I'm just going the dirty way and just say there's probably been a lot of negotiations in the percentages of the microtransactions as well. So if anybody buys any funky skins on any of these games going forward, instead of the standard 30% cut, that might be 50, 60, 70%. It could be a way up there. That's where they're going to make money as well, on top of the cross-buy across all the different situations as well. Where they're going to get money as well is, as you've rightly said, if you're trapped, not trapped is probably the wrong word. If you're in the Luna ecosystem, you're more likely to buy more channels on Luna, so they'll get their cut from that as well. It's all just growing the big picture and just trying to get content onto the service to start off with, and then they're going to just make money down the line. It's just all big picture sort of stuff, which is sometimes really hard to see. I think we touched on this the last time when we were talking about Ubisoft. Do you think, Rokk, that this is going to make them a more likely acquisition for people going forward, or do you think this strengthens their hand against getting acquired? Because we know that there's a lot of big talk about publishers and developers getting gobbled up by these big platform holders.
Oh, I think their eye is on a 5 to 10 year business plan here, Dunk. I don't think that it would be in their interest to sell out ahead of there. They're already an incredibly successful business in their own right, one of the most profitable software and game developers that exists currently. They clearly have a very substantial business model lined up, rolling out over the coming years. If I was them, I wouldn't sell early. I would sit back and wait, because ultimately I think they're going to be absolutely huge.
Yep, I know. It's just really, really interesting how quickly this market is just changing at this moment in time. Who could have predicted this? That they were just going to drop this on a random Tuesday. It's Tuesday, isn't it? It's hard to believe. A random Tuesday at this time, and go bang, here we go. What I would want to say about that as well, I have to say, Luna's marketing and PR, bang on the money straight away. As soon as this dropped, they were on Twitter retweeting it, saying this is coming. Mm-hmm. Here's another question for you. So this is what we like doing: just ask each other questions and do this. Do you think this, with this dropping, do you think this speeds up beta invites?
The early access invites, yeah, I think so. Well, certainly between now and the 10th of November. But again, I mean, if you go back and watch the show from Sunday, that's exactly what we said. I did actually say that I felt that they would accelerate them up to November the 10th, because I predicted that the Ubisoft channel would go live by then. You'd already suggested it would be by Valhalla, and therefore, one of the big things that we said, which I stand by, is that multiplayer won't be rolled out until they have a substantial number of early access users, and they need to be in place for the Ubisoft games. Although I think, to be fair, that they probably have a lot of their own services, which will, that will you will use as part of the Ubisoft Plus account. So, they may or may not be dependent upon the actual multiplayer facilities of either Amazon Luna or Google Stadia, for that matter. But I do think it's in everybody's interests to increase substantially the early accesses between now and November the 10th. So yeah, you've got what, 2-3 weeks before that happens. I think they'll be doubling, if not quadrupling them on a weekly basis up to that point.
Yeah, I think they're gonna really push this out now. I think we're going to see a lot more people get invites over the next couple of weeks. I don't think we're going to be talking. It's going to be open to absolutely everybody, but I do believe that we're going to see a big uptake on new beta invites going out there, and I would not be surprised now that if we may get some worldwide ones before the end of the year. And that's one of the questions in the chat there. I think Ubisoft wouldn't be dropping this on this early unless there was some sort of guarantee that it will be getting really pushed pretty quickly.
Well, what's interesting is, Duncan, and I don't know that it has any relevance at all, but I did see a Ubisoft tweet that was deleted shortly after it went live this afternoon. By the way, this is mid-afternoon here in the UK. Good morning to those of you where it isn't. There was a tweet that basically said, or it had the words in it, beta in the US. So let me see if I've actually got the words here for you, because I pasted them into.
Yep. No. Yeah. I remember you did.
Here you go. Yeah, it said Uplay Plus is now Ubisoft Plus and coming to Luna and Stadia. Get the details on this US beta here. Now, that was then deleted. I think it was probably deleted, to be fair, because it was confusing. We know that the Amazon Luna is indeed a US beta because, of course, the early access is purely US only. And they mention that it's a beta of Ubisoft Plus on Amazon Luna. So I think that's probably what they meant, and it is a little bit confusing. I also think, just to roll back a little bit on what you were saying a second ago there, Duncan, about increasing numbers, I think that this first week or two have really been about showing it off in its best light for the early streaming. So, you know, the time when most people want to see what it looks like and how it feels is these first couple of weeks. So Ashes, who's in the chat, hi Ashes, you know, he pointed out that or his thoughts were that it was limited to people with very fast connections, which makes a heap of sense because, you know, again, the initial people are the ones most likely to stream. You want the service to be streamed in its best shape. It's, you know, it's the faster the connection, the better that's going to be. Equally for all the reviews. Now, those first couple of weeks are now over, which is why I think they'll open the floodgates. It was just the first few days, the first 10 days, if you will, where they wanted it to be seen in the absolute best light, with people saying it feels great, it looks great, and obviously that comes down to the quality of the connection. So that's now done with. So yeah, I think from this coming week to November the 10th, the floodgates will be opened.
Yeah, I definitely just see them stepping this up. I think we've touched on this before. It was like controlled now, but this doesn't seem to be like a controlled beta. It just seems every couple of days something big drops for Luna. That last week we had New World, and then the controllers, and now this. It just seems to be taking off at a greyhound's pace here. It's not like a slow build. This is just bang, 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 bang. Wonder what's going to be coming next.
Which is why we've set set up this extra. You know, I think the thing here, and you hit it earlier, Duncan, is thinking. You know, whenever I sit and think about cloud gaming and any of the platforms or any of the games or any of the publishers, I always try to think a couple of years down the road, bigger picture stuff. And it's been clear to me coming over the last year, really, that the future for gamers is all about the game. Play it wherever you want. So it's down to the platform to give you some reason to use their platform, but ultimately you're not locked into it as you have been by virtue of the hardware that you've had to purchase up until now. That's the thing about game streaming or, you know, playing in the cloud. You're not connected or locked into hardware. None of the platforms that have launched so far have locked you into any hardware whatsoever. Yes, there is a dedicated controller for Amazon Luna, but you're not absolutely locked into playing with it. This is the future for us. The future is exactly as Ubisoft are crafting it here. You subscribe to a massive library of amazing games, but you can play them where you want for one price. And this is how it's going moving forward. Now, are we likely to see the same model rolled out for other channels on Amazon Luna? I don't know. And the reason I don't know is because Ubisoft's is very unique. They've been working on this. This is their business model for some time now. And I don't think other publishers have been looking at it in quite the same way. I think the majority of other publishers still have one foot in the old camp, the traditional gaming camp, with the 30% model based on walled gardens and so on, and exclusives for platforms and all those things, which all go by the by when you go down the road that Ubisoft are going. So it'll be interesting to see who's next and what their model is, and is it a subscription purely with an Amazon Luna, or are they looking to take that channel elsewhere as well? So yeah, exciting times. That's one that needs a lot more thought, but Ubisoft, I think, has the writing's been on the wall with these guys really for some months.
Yeah, I keep on muting myself because I'm just worried about all the noises and whatnot going in the background. But I just can't believe the actual speed of this, everything going to Luna is just at warp speed. It's just, we thought, honestly, Jordan, I thought we were going to have a snail's pace with Luna, where we would get maybe the Ubisoft Channel, maybe December, but probably New Year. And we now know we're getting it November. And we both thought you were definitely going to happen. It's going to happen next year, and we got it last week. It's like, come on, what is absolutely going on here? They must be out there just appealing to everybody. They must be making a load of brilliant business deals out there where it's nearly too good for people to turn down to get everything going here so quick. I just want to see what publisher is next and what are we going to get next. It is just absolutely mad.
Do you know what, Dunk? I genuinely think that the negotiations for everything we're seeing today has probably been in the offing for the last 2 years. I don't think for 1 minute that this has all been crafted and decided in the last few weeks. I think Uplay Plus across all platforms is a model that they've been working on for a while. We know that they announced it was going to go to the cloud a year ago. So, whether or not they've perfected it over that period, who knows? But I'm absolutely convinced that this isn't something that's happened in the last few weeks. I think the one overriding message is that no matter what's happening in the world, and there's some pretty nasty stuff, as we all know, going on right now. Take care, folks. But next year for gamers, it's going to be absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And if I was Microsoft or Sony right now, I'd want a slice of this. If you want to extend the life cycle of your product, which I think is the last that we'll see of the consoles as we know them today, I think they'll all eventually move to cloud. But if you want to extend that, you've got to have a slice of this. And I think that's what Ubisoft are banking on. Not necessarily carving up big chunks of their profit, but just the fact that if you want to be in the park, you've got to play their game. And that's where I think it'll go, and it'll extend it for the consoles. Because if you just ordered your Xbox Series X or S or your PS5, and then they suddenly announce, oh, and by the way, if you have a Ubisoft subscription, you can also now play on your PS5. Bingo. I mean, you literally now are all in everywhere, aren't you? And that can be the case because that's the whole mantra here. You pay Ubisoft one figure and then you play your games wherever they've got their applications embedded. So I think next year is going to be amazing for gamers.
Yeah, I'm seeing some talk about here. It's on my Twitter and other places here. How do you feel about the price of Ubisoft Plus? If you're just a Luna subscriber, say, would you think that's going to be good value, poor value? And we do know there's at least 50 games coming. The 50 games may not be all out on November the 10th.
Mhm.
But we know that there's at least 50 games coming. Do you think that's good value or poor value or middle?
It's difficult with Luna, isn't it? Because you're and to a degree, any other platform as well that has an existing subscription price. I think you have to look at the two as two separate things. I think the bigger question is, well, what if you don't want all of the games? What if actually you're only interested in Rainbow Six Siege or Hyperscape or Valhalla? Well, I think that you will be able to buy them independently. I don't think that's going to happen this year on Amazon Luna, but I do think eventually you will be able to just buy off the one game if you want to, and you'd rather do that. Don't forget, it's already been ported for cloud, so it's not like there's any additional work to be done for Ubisoft, and then that just reverts to standard pricing and the same profit margins and markup that you would see anywhere else. So I fully expect and predict that to come, probably early next year once they get closer to a more finite launch. Certainly that's going to be the case with Stadia. Certainly that's the case with PC currently. And I'm sure it'll be the same on other platforms as well. So I don't think you're being ostracized. You're not going to be cut off from just owning one or two games. I don't think that will be the case at all. And that may well be the better route for most people or some people. I mean, the way I look at it is really simple. As you rightly said, Duncan, you don't just get the basic games with Ubisoft Plus. You get their top end versions with all the DLC and all the add-ons and stuff, which typically are selling at $80 to $100. So if you take the 5 games that we know are coming, what are Watchdog Legions, Phoenix, Prince of Persia, Far Cry 6.
Yeah,
there's a ton of them. If you bought them all at $100 a piece, you're actually $400, $500, $600. Now, if you buy them at the base price, yeah, it is slightly cheaper than $15 a month. But you are getting everything, and a lot of people buy the DLC. It's worth it with something like Breakpoint or Assassin's Creed. There's lots of ongoing seasons. Division 2, they've had 2 or 3 seasons, some big DLCs. So that's where I think you'll find it works in your favor. And also, don't forget, you're spreading the cost. You're not paying up front for this. So like most of us, a big, massive drop of $50, $60, $100 is a chunk of money. You're not paying that. You're paying $15 a month. And at any point, you can take a break. Whereas if you paid your $60 to $100, that's it. You're lumped with it. You can take it down the road and sell it, but you lose on that. So there are advantages, and you have to weigh it up dependent upon yourselves. But for me, I think the fact that I can play what I want, where I want, that's the key. I get to play the fidelity of a PC, but I have the advantage of being able to play anywhere I want to with my cloud, my Amazon Luna cloud gaming subscription.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are also missing out the big picture in regards to this. It is $15 a month. That does not lock you into the year. That is just a monthly price. So you don't have to pay that for the whole year. If you want to just play Assassin's Creed, Valhalla, and you're waiting until the full version's out with all the DLC, you pay your $15. You can knock that out and get that done during that monthly period. But the value in the Ubisoft one, especially on Luna from the cloud gaming services, there is you're going to get the 50 games in the backlog straight away. Boom, you're in there and you can play them. Again, with this Ubisoft Connect, which is the new service, which is linking everything up, this means you can just play this and away you go, and it doesn't matter. This is absolutely amazing news, and it's brilliant news for Luna as well, because it's definitely showing that they're in the game all right here. And I think they might have been playing possum for a long time here, saying that they were delayed, because earlier in the year we heard that Amazon Luna, we didn't know the actual name of it, the Amazon Cloud Gaming Service was delayed well into next year. It doesn't look well delayed to me now. I think they've been just working away in the background, and they just want to get going now and just bang this all out.
Yeah, and also, Duncan, don't forget, you don't just get the games. The great thing about Ubisoft, and to be fair to them, they've thought this through from value proposition for customers. So you get loads of rewards for playing their games that can be either unlocks for games, cosmetics, and so on. Can even be money off purchasing games as well. You can cash in any of your credits that you build up to currently get 20% off of any game in the Ubisoft store. So there are real advantages to having that subscription if you like their games. But as I say, I think expect to see that expanding in the coming months.
Yeah, it's absolutely mad, and just something to think about here. This is the same price that it was before, so this is like what happened Xbox Game Pass. You got your if you're an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate member, you got your Android streaming as a free perk. This is what this is doing to Uplay Plus, as it formerly was. Now you're getting this new Ubisoft Plus you're getting free access to stream your games on Luna or Stadia for free. That is going to open up the PC market, which is going to be massive as well. This is an absolute amazing news for the whole gaming world. And if you're a Ubisoft subscriber and you're an Ubisoft fan, this is a no-brainer for you.
Yeah, it's hugely exciting. I mean, it's great because, everything we kind of predicted has come true, which shows that we're not just pretty faces, or at least you're not. So, the key thing is that as of, just to kind of recapitulate, as of November the 10th, the Ubisoft Channel, which to the rest of the world will be known as Ubisoft Plus, will be launching on Amazon Luna, with, of course, the launch of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Initially, it'll be a beta, which means that anybody can subscribe to Ubisoft Plus, but you will have to apply to play the games on Amazon Luna, which I'm assuming at this moment in time means that you will have to have early access in order to do that. So if you don't have one or the other, you're out of luck. But I do think, and we just said this as well, that between now and November the 10th, they'll open the floodgates, and it'll be much easier to get onto the early access program than it has been for the first 2 weeks. So that's exciting. It also, by the way, you don't have to. We've always said this. You don't have to subscribe to Luna Plus to play your Ubisoft games with the Amazon Luna platform. Goes for Stadia as well, and in the near future, no doubt, with other platforms they'll be rolling it out on, which is exceptional. Oh, Duncan?
Yeah, I just seen this little caveat here. Furthermore, Ubisoft would only commit to the offering in Stadia and Luna support for free for the entire duration of the beta, so there's a possibility that the price could go up in the future.
Yeah, I've seen that as well. I mean, look, who wouldn't put prices may vary in the future? I mean, you would be, commercially suicidal to do anything other. Personally, I think it's at the uppermost point that most people will. It's a no-brainer. We've said this before on other shows. There's that kind of $5, $10, $15 price points. $5 is an absolute no-brainer. You can get your grand to do that for you. $10, you give it a little bit of a thought, but you know what? It's not going to break the bank. $15, you have to think about it. Now, if you go above that, you're risking losing subscribers or people being in and out of it all the time, which is not what you want. The one thing you don't want in a subscription service is user churn, which is what it's called. You want people to be there long term because you get your value out of them when they've been a subscriber longer than a year. So, I don't honestly believe you're going to see it extend beyond $15, not in the short term, but they have to say that because they need to reserve the right to increase prices. Who knows where the world's going to be in 6 months' time?
Yeah, I think it is just a caveat in there. Yes, it is there, and I think it's right that we raise that it is there, no matter what platform you're on. But I would be I would be surprised if it doesn't continue down that way, because it's one of them things. It's hard to actually take something away when it's there. It's one of them things. If you're getting something for free and to try to add it again, add a cost to it, you're going to kick off a fuss, and it's not going to look good. And what will happen is they'll backtrack and do it again. So I think if I was a betting man, I'm not anticipating it going away. Could it go up in price in this time next year? But to compensate, probably. There's just with rising costs, but I would not anticipate losing the free access to Luna in the foreseeable future.
Yeah, no, I agree. I genuinely don't think that you're going to see the huge changes to anybody's business model in the short term in terms of the money involved. And I think the only reason that it's a beta, to be quite honest with you, is more for the fact that Amazon Luna is in early access, and therefore it's connecting the fact is it may be subject to some changes in terms of how it integrates and how the user interface works and so on. And while Amazon Luna is in early access, you kind of want anything that's connected into it to be in early access as well. So that makes a heap of sense. So yeah, I wouldn't expect to see any massive changes to that, to be honest with you. I'm just going to share something with you guys, if you can bear with me 2 seconds. Here we go. Right, here we go. So this is actually what Ubisoft Plus now looks like. So they have actually rebranded. It's no longer called Uplay Plus, as you can see up here in the top left corner. This is your actual live account. There's your little fella there in the corner there. You'll also notice as I scroll down here that I have got Watch Dogs Legion installed. There it is. Now, it won't work, he says. It's preloaded, but it's not available yet. But this is the thing as well with Ubisoft. Ubisoft Plus, they do allow you to play games a couple of days before they launch. Not this one, mind you, but that's just because it's tying everything into the 29th, which is, a lot of their stuff's going on. But you can see here, I've got games installed, and, there are games here that I've installed, tried them out, and deleted them. Great thing, of course, about Amazon Luna is that you won't have to install any of these. You can add every single game in the Ubisoft catalog to your My Games list and play them whenever you want, wherever you want. And it is a massive amount of games, so it's exciting stuff. But as I say, it's now been rebranded. It's Ubisoft Plus. It's no longer to be called Uplay Plus, which I am so grateful for, because I found Uplay Plus to be quite a tongue twister. Ubisoft Plus is so much easier. And then here is obviously their catalogue of 100+ games. Now, we know that Amazon Luna will be launching with a maximum of 50. We don't know if that's going to be initially or later, but certainly a lot of these older games won't be making it across. Duncan's mentioned in the past, some of these are keyboard only. Panzer General 3D Assault probably goes back to about 1840. So you're not going to see a lot of those. You are going to see things like the full set of Assassin's Creeds, the full set of Far Cries, all the Divisions, all of that kind of stuff. But I don't think you're going to see a lot of the more obscure older titles.
No, the Settlers. The Settlers is the one I always go back to. If you go back to the Settlers, the original Settlers is on there, which is nearly 20 years old, if not more. That is not going to make its way across to a couple of these platforms. It's just too awkward and old and things like that. If I was a betting man for Luna, any of these games which are primarily controller-based games, I would expect to be on the platform. So I'm expecting all of the Assassin's Creeds, all the Watch Dogs, all the I can't even think, Prince of Persia's, even going back to the older ones, all them sort of games I am expecting on Luna going forward. And the keyboard and mouse ones, I think they will not bring them across, because I think it's going to be more hassle than it's actually worth for them.
Yeah, no, I agree, Dunk. So, guys, I would say if you are planning on getting a subscription with Ubisoft Plus, there's nothing to stop you going and doing it now. Quite frankly, you will be therefore be able to play Watch Dogs Legion on Thursday, the minute it launches, and of course, any progression will be carried across to your Amazon Luna or your cloud gaming platform any road up. So, you've got nothing to lose, quite frankly. It's going to be the same price wherever you decide to play. So that's exactly what I did yesterday, hence why I've got this account here. I kind of hedged my bets. I thought that's what would happen. I'd seen some people were playing Watch Dogs Legion, and I'd hoped that it would be available to play, but clearly only for journos and reviewers and so on. So I couldn't get to play it. But it's there. It's ready for Thursday.
And his password is Luna is the best one.
Exclamation mark at the end, mate.
Okay, sorry, I forgot about that.
So there we go, folks. Exciting news, exciting news. And hope that you've enjoyed our little Amazon LunaCast Extra. As I say, we're going to pop these up whenever it's groundbreaking news. We'll be there for you. And of course, you can pick us up on Amazon LunaCast, or the LunaCast, I should say, on Sundays and also Thursdays when we bring you the LunaCast Game Quest, which I'm no doubt whatsoever will be absolutely brimming with Ubisoft discussions this Thursday.
I think we will be, and I'm going to tell you how good of an offer this is. I was not going to be probably playing Watch Dogs Legion until we got confirmation of Ubisoft Plus, as it's now known, coming. I am going to be probably getting that this week, so I can start playing that and give my impressions on it as well.
Well, look at it this way. If you pay today, where are we, the 27th, you're going to have a full month until the 27th of November. And that's going to cover you for Watch Dogs Legion, Valhalla, and I'm trying to think I don't think the next games come out until December, do they? 3rd of December is Phoenix, followed by Far Cry 6 in January, I think. But you certainly get 2 very good games for your $15 in that time frame. So if nothing else, you get to try those 2 for $15, which I think is amazing.
Absolutely, and I'm so looking forward to this going forward here, so I can get to try all this. So I think that's maybe a good time to maybe wrap this up here. We can stay around. I'm not sure, Rokk, can you stay around here for a couple of minutes?
Well, I've already missed a really important meeting that I was supposed to be in an hour ago, so I might as well see what I do for you guys.
Yeah, so we can stay around for a wee bit longer as well, because I've got bits and bobs I need to do as well, but we can stay around for a wee touch longer.
We'll do a wee bit. I just wanted to, we've got a little scrolling banner there, and just, again, thank you very, very much to our patrons and subscribers. It really does mean a huge amount to us. Seatrue, Stadiumania, Wolock, Marchief, Your Man One to Escape, TW Cooks, Tresurector, Songa 2011, Tommy Danger, Ashes to Ashes TV, Rokk Gaming, your other man there. And thank you guys. It absolutely is massively really important to us. So thank you very much indeed. And we really, really do appreciate it. So I think we'll call it a day on our extra. We'll carry on having a little chit chat afterwards. But for anyone else that wants to leave, thank you guys. We'll see you Thursday, and we'll see you on Sunday. Take care. And then we're back again. So we'll just do a few minutes, see what chat's been up to. Got any questions that you want to reflect back in there, Doug?
Yep, all the time. I've got I'll see if there's any questions that tickle my fancy there, but I'm just really excited about this. This is just showing you where everything's been going, and it's something we have been harping on about for a while now. That platforms are not going to matter, because you're going to be able to play things everywhere and where you want to. And I think you should get all the props about calling this that this was going to happen. So I think that needs to be recognized here.
Yeah, well, it won't be, but it's it's nice to know. It's nice to know that. The more importantly, what's great is that people that watch the show regularly know that when we do discuss stuff, there's a level of thought that's gone into it. It's important to, even if we do speculate, when it actually does happen, it's great for us and great for you. So that's all good.
Yeah, it's what I would say informed speculation.
Yeah,
It's
very informed.
or where we can see dots. Sometimes the dots take us down the complete wrong path. Sometimes the dots line up nearly 100%, like what sort of happened here today.
Yeah.
But if you don't put your neck on the line, you're never right or you're never wrong. But
so let's just speculate. So Hendo says, when do we think Luna's going to go worldwide? Now, obviously, we have a vested interest in that as much as anybody, because we want to be able to fire up Amazon Luna ourselves, of course, and do demos and things. My guess, and it's purely speculation, is that it's the official non-beta launch of Amazon Luna is going to be spring of next year. So by May, that is my guess. Now that may come forward, but that's my guess that it's going to be by then. Of course, we've seen with many services that actually they're in their final state a long time before. I think I'm right in saying that who is it? Is it Spotify's only just come out of beta? One of them has. Well, I mean, Fortnite's only just come out of beta.
Can I just say this? The official page is now up, and it says, "Please note that US residents will be able to participate in this beta. Not only US residents will be able to participate in this beta." If that's the case, that's sort of
which official page?
The support page for Ubisoft Plus. I've actually just got it on my phone here.
Can we find it and pull it up on screen?
I will try and find it here. Give me 2 secs. If that's I'm wearing a different hat here quickly because this is the post show.
We're both working. This is actually a work day for us, but we thought this was important enough that we'd risk the ire of our bosses, or in my case, I am the boss, but you know what I'm saying. Right, so if you've got it there, cool.
There we go. Please note this is only US residents only. I think if I'm a betting man, which I'm not, I'm going to put my other hat on here, and I think you'll be able to do this on Stadia, but Luna, that sort of rules it out. Luna maybe expanding out.
It may well, yeah, and it may well be that's why Stadia aren't launching until later, because for them it's it's absolutely crucial that they are at this moment in time across 14 territories, so they will need to ensure that this is accessible across all 14 territories. So yeah, I think, as I've said, initially it's going to be early access users anyway, but I can't believe for 1 minute that you won't be able to access this outside the US by until the spring of next year. That just wouldn't make any sense for Ubisoft, to be quite honest with you, nor would it make a huge amount of sense for Amazon Luna.
Yeah, if I'm a betting man, I think we will see Luna go live in the UK, Canada, and a couple of other places this year, and I think it'll be late November, early December. I think they want to get out the door pretty quick here, and the way they're moving, I can't actually see why they won't be, because we have said before, we think the full launch date for Luna is going to be New World's release date. That's going to be their coming out party.
Yeah, that's where the original May came from, because it was pushed back from around now going live to May of next year, which is why I've suggested that would be the sort of date that they have. But it's a provisional date, and like everything, it can all change. But I just, when you think about what's coming up, there'll be nothing this side of holidays. Then you've got January, which is always a flat month. Nobody ever wants to do anything particularly exceptional in January. Then you're starting to come out of winter. So yeah, sometime between March and May, I think, is when you'll officially see it leave. Now, does that mean that they couldn't expand the early access to other countries in the meantime? No, they absolutely could. It doesn't mean that we won't see it in other territories before it officially launches. That simply means that I think around May is when it goes, ta-da, and now we're live. Up until then, they want the ability to say, oh yeah, don't worry, that's not working because it's early access. But they'll introduce all the features up to the point of going live, which I would imagine will include other territories and other channels. So, once they're all happy that everything is working as it should do, then they'll, and also, incidentally, that will include the higher resolutions as well, of course, by then. And they've said in the on the Amazon Luna page, which I've got here, 4K coming soon for both Luna Plus and Ubisoft. So expect that to happen as well before the full launch.
Yeah, exactly. It's all good fun here. I'm going to have to go here, just to get bits and bobs done. Are you going to stay around, Rokk, or do you?
No, I've got to go as well. I have been working diligently on a rather special new show that I'm launching on Saturday, which I don't know if you folks have seen. If you go and look at my Twitter channel, you'll see that there is a little tease video, and I'm working on a big premiere for a reveal before it launches on Saturday. So broken into that. I need to get back and finish that off. So
can I bring some breaking news about it?
About which? About what?
Your show?
I don't know. Have you cleared it with? Are you under embargo?
No. I'm just going to say I'm not involved with it. So
no, you're not. He's not, unfortunately. Duncan is not involved in it. But I'm not telling you who is, because that is part of the secret sauce. Okay, guys, thanks ever so much. Thank you for popping in as well, all of you, because you're all various time zones, and it's a weekday. So we just thought it was really good to share this with you. We could have gone a little earlier because we were ahead of the news, but we needed to get it set up. But yeah, exciting stuff. More to come, no doubt.
Exactly. So thanks for joining us, and we'll be back on Thursday.
We will. We'll see you on Thursday. Say goodbye, Duncan.
Goodbye, Duncan.
Take care.